I thought we had a peaceful marriage. Then I found the receipt. I believed I would feel it if something was wrong. I believed my body would warn me. A tight chest, a bad feeling, a quiet voice saying, "Pay attention." That never happened. Everything felt normal. The kitchen light hummed. The dishwasher ran. Dinner was on the table. We had been married for 9 years. 9 quiet years. 9 respectable years. The kind people call solid. We met in our late 20s, both tired of chaos, both wanting stability. He said he hated drama. I believed that meant safety. Our life looked good. A small house, a quiet street, 2 working cars, a calendar on the fridge. His color, my color. Dinner at the same time, the same shows, the same bedtime. There was comfort in how nothing surprised us. The days didn't ask questions. They just arrived, and we followed them. There was a strange relief in that. No decisions, no recalculations, no emotional negotiations before breakfast. Life didn't require interpretation. It ran on muscle memory, wake up, coffee, shower, work. I could move through my day without checking in with myself. That felt like peace. Looking back, I understand how seductive that is. When nothing asks for your attention, you don't have to decide what you want. You just keep going. I knew what the week would feel like before it started. Not what would happen, but how my body would move through it. Mornings were quiet, not peaceful, just smooth. We didn't linger. No slow mornings, no talking in bed. Everything was efficient. We moved around each other with practiced timing. I learned when to reach for the coffee so I wouldn't bump into him. I learned when to speak and when not to interrupt the flow. We never argued about mornings. We simply removed anything that could cause friction. At the time, I thought that meant compatibility. No sharp edges, no raised voices, no slammed doors. We functioned well together, like parts that had learned each other's weight. I mistook that for intimacy. We shared space, schedules, silence, but we didn't share curiosity anymore. I thought love was the absence of friction. No raised voices, no slammed doors, no uncomfortable pauses. We had mastered the art of keeping things even. But evenness isn't connection, it's control. At the time, I didn't know the difference. I thought love matured into something quieter. I didn't realize quiet can be engineered, that if nothing hurt, nothing was wrong. I didn't notice how often silence replaced curiosity. How rarely we asked, "How are you really?" and waited for the answer. Routine made everything feel settled, and settled felt safe. No passion, no explosions, just routine. And I told myself routine was love that lasted. Behind closed doors, I thought we were safe. I trusted habits. Habits feel honest. They repeat themselves. Coffee every morning, the same mug, the same side of the bed, the same jokes, the same complaints, the same conclusions. We had answers ready before questions were finished. There was nothing to discover. And discovery, I would later learn, is where intimacy actually lives. I thought routine meant truth. I told myself that if something mattered, it would announce itself. That love wouldn't disappear quietly. That danger made noise. I believed important things came with symptoms. I trusted my body. I believed it would intervene. Raise a hand, pull me aside. I thought pain was loud. That fear announced itself. No one tells you that some losses arrive quietly, that your body can stay calm while your life is being edited without your consent. I didn't feel danger. I felt functional, and I confused the two. A warning, a feeling, a moment where you stop and think something is off. But nothing ever stopped me. I didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel neglected. I didn't feel unloved. Fine is a dangerous word. Fine doesn't ask questions. Fine ends conversations. Fine convinces everyone, including you, that there is nothing to look at. I lived inside Fine for years, and no one ever interrupts Fine. I felt fine, and that terrified me later, because it meant I had trusted calm more than connection. I chose predictability over presence, stability over attention. I thought being comfortable was the same as being chosen. Comfort doesn't argue, it doesn't challenge. Comfort agrees with you. It lets you believe you've arrived somewhere permanent. I thought being chosen meant nothing was required of me anymore, that I had passed some invisible test. I didn't realize love doesn't stop asking just because you answered once. I didn't know you could be replaced without being pushed away. I didn't know absence could exist inside consistency. I thought absence meant living, distance, silence. No one tells you absence can live inside routine, that someone can be present and already gone, that you can sleep next to a body that has moved on without you. I didn't know routine can hide anything if you stop asking questions. I stopped asking questions. Not because I didn't care, but because caring started to feel unnecessary. Everything appeared handled. Handled is dangerous. Handled makes you lazy. Handled convinces you there is nothing left to protect. Because nothing seemed broken. Nothing felt unstable. That was the problem. There was no reason to look closer. No reason to interrupt the flow. So I didn't. I learned how easy it is to stop paying attention when life doesn't demand it. How silence can feel earned. How safety can look exactly like love, right up until it isn't. The changes were small. He started coming home at strange times. Not always late, not always early, just unpredictable. Unpredictable didn't feel dangerous. It felt adult. Adult meant flexible, understanding, not rigid. Adult meant accepting that life doesn't look the same forever. I like thinking of myself that way. I liked believing I had outgrown suspicion. The truth was something you graduate into. Like life getting fuller, more complex, more grown. I told myself this was what long marriages looked like. Schedules bending, energy shifting, people evolving. I didn't question the change. I admired my own flexibility. Flexibility felt like maturity, like evidence that I wasn't controlling, wasn't needed. I thought love required room, so I kept making space, more space, then more, until I couldn't tell what belonged to me anymore. I liked believing I wasn't the kind of woman who needed constant reassurance. I told myself trust meant not noticing, not counting, not tracking, not keeping mental notes. I treated awareness like a character flaw, something insecure people did. I was proud of how little I needed to know, and I was proud of how little I noticed. Not noticing felt disciplined, like emotional control, like growth. I told myself I wasn't reactive, wasn't sensitive. I didn't realize I was slowly outsourcing awareness, letting someone else decide what deserved my attention. Some nights exhausted, some nights energized. I told myself it was work. When I asked how his day was, he said one word: busy. Busy explained everything. Busy meant I wouldn't ask who he had lunch with. Busy meant I wouldn't notice the shift in his tone when his phone lit up. Busy gave me permission to stay uninformed, and I accepted it. Busy was a perfect word. It sounded productive, responsible, unquestionable. Busy made everything untraceable. It closed conversations. It ended curiosity politely. Busy meant I didn't need to ask follow-up questions. Busy meant I was supportive. I didn't want to be the woman who needed details. Needing details felt childish, like something insecure people did, people who didn't trust themselves. I trusted myself, which meant I trusted my silence more than my questions. So I didn't ask what kind of busy, or who he was with, or why busy looked different lately. I told myself questions created distance. That trust lives in restraint. I practiced restraint. Every time I almost asked, I reminded myself, nothing has happened. And if nothing has happened, then this feeling must be nothing too. I learned how to quiet instincts by calling them empty insecurity. I used language against myself. I reframed. I minimized. I corrected my own reactions. Any discomfort was treated like a mistake I needed to fix. I was very good at talking myself out of clarity. I was proud of that. Proud that I didn't spiral. Proud that I didn't accuse. Proud that I didn't become the kind of woman who reads meaning into tone shifts or checks the clock too often. I told myself I was evolved, secure, past the need for reassurance. I had spent years proving I wasn't fragile. I didn't want to undo that by asking questions that sounded small. Small questions felt risky. They threatened the image I had built of myself. The calm wife, the low-maintenance partner. I protected that version of me more than I protected the truth. So when a thought appeared, I didn't examine it. I evaluated it. I asked myself whether it was useful, whether it was fair, whether it made me look like someone who didn't trust her own life. Most of the time, I decided it didn't. I learned how to be calm on command. Calm became a skill, something I could summon, perform, maintain. I didn't feel calm. I acted calm. And the difference mattered more than I knew. How to label discomfort as immaturity. How to translate curiosity into weakness. I told myself that strong women don't monitor love. They let it breathe. They don't crowd it with fear. So I practiced letting go before I ever held on. Each time I swallowed a question, I felt taller. Restraint felt virtuous. I was rewarded for it. With peace, with predictability. No conflict, no discomfort. I didn't realize I was being trained to disappear politely. More reasonable, more chosen. Silence started to feel like proof. If I wasn't anxious, then nothing was wrong. If I wasn't jealous, then I was secure. And security, I told myself, was what adults had. I didn't realize I was training myself to ignore the only signal that was still trying to reach me. Then his mood changed, distant for days, then suddenly warm, compliments, affection, texts saying he missed me. I felt relieved. I thought we were reconnecting. I didn't know affection could come from guilt. The warmth felt convincing. It arrived suddenly, without explanation. He touched my arm more, looked at me longer, said my name like it mattered again. I relaxed into it. I told myself this was what effort looked like, what choosing each other looked like. I didn't notice how timed it was, how it appeared and disappeared. Affection felt like proof that I was chosen, proof that I at present hadn't imagined distance. I didn't realize how easy it is to accept reassurance instead of truth, especially when reassurance feels good. And proof felt better than doubt, so I stopped questioning the pattern. I accepted the comfort without asking where it came from. I didn't know closeness could be transactional. One night he paused the TV. "I've been thinking," he said. My body tightened. "Things feel calm," he said, "almost too calm." That sentence stayed with me, not because it scared me, but because it confused me. Calm had always been our goal, the thing we were proud of. So why did it sound like a problem now? I offered solutions, plans, fixes, but I could feel it. He wasn't asking how to reconnect. He was asking how much movement this marriage would allow, how far things could bend without breaking. And I didn't understand yet that this was a negotiation I didn't know I was in. I laughed. I said we could plan something. A trip, date nights. He nodded, but it felt like he wasn't asking for effort. It felt like he was asking for permission. Permission to drift. Permission to experiment. Permission to want more without losing what he already had. I didn't hear it clearly then, but my body did. Behind closed doors, I kept defending him. At first, I blamed myself. I asked if I had missed something, if I had become boring, if routine had turned into neglect. I replayed small moments, conversations I rushed, texts I answered late. I wondered if attention had slowly leaked out of me. That thought hurt, because it meant this could be my fault. Unblaming myself felt safer than questioning him. Self-blame gave me control. If this was my fault, then I could fix it. I could be more attentive, more interesting, more present. I adjusted myself quietly. I watched my words, my reactions, my energy. I became careful without knowing what I was protecting. I didn't realize I was shrinking my questions to fit his comfort. I told myself love requires effort. I didn't see that effort was only moving in one direction. I started checking myself, my tone, my timing. Was I too relaxed, too predictable? I wondered if desire disappears quietly, if attention fades without warning. I didn't realize I was negotiating with silence. I thought silence was neutral. I didn't know it could be an agreement. I didn't know you can consent without ever saying yes. There were moments I can't fully explain. Nothing concrete, nothing provable. Just a tightening, a pause, a delay in my response that hadn't been there before. My body hesitated before my mind did. I ignored it. I was very good at overriding myself. I found the receipt on a Tuesday. By then, my instincts had gone quiet. Not because they were gone, but because I had trained myself not to listen. There is a point where ignoring yourself starts to feel normal. I had passed it, so when the proof appeared, it didn't feel like discovery. It felt like confirmation. Not searching, not looking, just doing laundry. It was in his jacket pocket. I stood there longer than I needed to, holding it, not moving. Like if I stayed still enough, the moment wouldn't advance. My body understood before my mind did. Swanson had shifted, quietly, irreversibly. I folded the paper, then unfolded it, then folded it again. I kept thinking, this doesn't belong here. But it did. And that was the problem. A hotel receipt, a local, downtown, a weekday. My mind refused to accept it. I read it again, and again. That day, he said he was in meetings. I sat on the bed. The paper felt loud in my hands. I tried to explain it away. My mind worked fast, too fast. It offered explanations before I asked for them. Work travel, someone else's room, a mistake at the desk. I told myself this was what calm people do. They don't jump to conclusions. They stay reasonable. I stayed reasonable long past the point of honesty. Reasonable felt safer than truthful. Truth would have changed everything. Reason allowed me to stay still, to breathe, to delay. I treated time like a buffer, as if waiting could soften reality. Every explanation felt thin, but thin was still better than true. I learned how easy it is to negotiate with evidence when the truth threatens your life. A mistake, a work sin, a misunderstanding. Then I checked the bank account. Our accounts were linked, joined. Don't get either that way, he used to say. The charge was there. That night we still ate dinner. The table looked the same. Same plates, same silverware, the same chair slightly closer to the counter. Nothing in the room reacted to what I knew. The overhead light hummed. The clock kept time. I noticed how carefully I was breathing. Not shallow, not fast, controlled. I watched his hands as he cut his food, the way his wrist moved, the way nothing about him hesitated. I wondered how many times someone can sit across from you and not be where you think they are. I answered his questions like I always did. Full sentences, the right amount of detail. I laughed once, softly, automatically. It surprised me. I noticed the sound before I noticed the feeling. There was a moment when I thought about saying something. Not everything, just enough to crack the surface. But the room felt fragile. Like one wrong word would make the whole evening collapse. So I protected it. I told myself this was not the right time. Timing became my excuse. I treated truth like something fragile that needed ideal conditions. As if honesty could expire if exposed us too quickly. I didn't want truth. I wanted control over how it entered my life. That timing mattered. That calm was still valuable. I studied his face for signs of recognition. A flinch, a pause, anything. There was nothing. He reached for his glass. I reached for mine. We moved in sync, the way people do when they've practiced their life together. The normalcy was convincing. It almost worked. I understood then the silence wasn't neutral. It was effort. It took energy to keep the evening intact. To speak about the weather, about schedules, or about nothing. Each sentence felt heavier than the last. I wasn't eating. I was performing. I performed normalcy. I performed interest. I performed listening. I nodded at the right moments. I didn't want to disrupt the illusion that we were still in the same room. I thought about how strange it was that betrayal could sit at the table without being named, how it could pass the salt, ask about my day, notice if the chicken was dry. When he said it, I added, the food tasted normal. That was the most unsettling part, because if nothing tasted different, then everything could keep going, and I realized how easy it would be to let that happen, to survive by delay, to stay by choosing not to speak. I watched him closely, not suspiciously, carefully, like I was studying someone I thought I knew. He asked about my day. I answered. We spoke in full sentences, complete thoughts, nothing cracked. That scared me more than yelling would have. It meant he didn't feel exposed. It meant I was holding the weight alone. I felt the imbalance, not as anger, as gravity. Like the room tilted slightly and never returned. I knew then that something had shifted without his participation. I realized then I was already on the outside of the truth, looking in. The food tasted normal. That scared me. He asked if the chicken was dry. I nodded. After dinner, he washed the dishes. Carefully, quietly, like nothing had happened. I waited until the next day. Waiting felt strategic, like I was choosing the right moment. But really, I was choosing delay. I needed one more night where everything stayed intact. One more morning where I could pretend this knowledge wasn't permanent. I slept lightly, woke often, each time thinking, this will be different when I open my eyes. It never was. I placed the receipt on the counter. What's this? I asked. He looked at it. He sighed. No shock, no confusion. It didn't mean anything, he said. He said it easily, like the meaning belonged to him, like he had already decided what this was allowed to be. I noticed that he didn't ask how I felt. He explained, he minimized, he closed the story, and I felt something new. Not anger, distance. The quiet understanding that we were no longer standing on the same side of the truth. Just one time. He didn't mean once. He meant, don't make it bigger than I want it to be. I asked how long. A few weeks, he said. Weeks. Not a moment, not an accident. I asked the hardest question. If I hadn't found this, would you have told me? He didn't answer. That silence said everything. Behind closed doors, something broke. Not loudly, not dramatically. It broke administratively. Like a decision already processed before I was consulted. I wasn't being informed. I was being updated. He didn't panic. He explained. Like this was manageable. It was physical, he said. It wasn't emotional. You're my life, he said. This doesn't change anything. I realized something then. He thought the marriage belonged to him. He said he felt excited, seen, alive. Then he added it meant nothing. He said we were stable. He said it like armor, like stability meant immunity. Behind closed doors, he had already decided. I just hadn't agreed yet. My body reacted before my mind. I stopped eating. Food tasted flat. I slept, but I didn't rest. My chest felt tight for no reason. I learned something then. The body keeps score even when the mind negotiates. The next day, I went to the grocery store. I needed milk. Nothing else. Everything was bright. Brightness felt aggressive. The lights hummed overhead. That kind of constant artificial brightness that leaves no room for shadow. I remember thinking there should be a dimmer. Some acknowledgement that something had happened. But the store didn't adjust. It stayed exactly as it was. Fully lit, fully stocked, fully indifferent. Like the world hadn't gotten the message. Like everything was continuing without my permission. I moved slower than usual, carefully, as if sudden movements might make the truth louder. The aisles felt longer, the sound sharper. Every sound felt separate. A cart rolling 3 aisles away, a freezer door slamming shut, a child asking for something. Each noise arrived alone, then disappeared. Nothing blended together. My senses were working, but they weren't cooperating. Carts squeaked, someone laughed. I remember thinking, how is everyone still so intact? How are people choosing cereal when something irreversible has happened? I realize the world doesn't pause when your life splits in two. It keeps offering options. Too bright. I forgot what kind we buy. It scared me more than crying would have. Forgetting meant something had gone offline. I knew facts, dates, passwords, but shared details slipped away. I stood there too long, holding the carton. I picked one, put it back, picked another. It wasn't about milk. I realized I was moving the way I always had. Cart forward, turn left, reach, compare, decide. My body knew the store better than my mind did. I followed familiar paths without remembering choosing them. I stood in front of the shelves longer than necessary. Not because I was deciding, but because deciding felt impossible. Every option looked identical. I tried to remember when the last time was that I felt present inside my own hands. The carton felt heavier than it should have. I noticed the cold through the plastic, the condensation. Small details my mind clung to because they didn't ask anything of me. No one was looking. No one noticed. That felt important. It meant I could disappear a little without consequences. I wasn't sad. I wasn't panicked. I was blank, like something essential had stepped out of the room and left the lights on. I paid. I thanked the cashier. I smiled when it was expected. My voice sounded normal. That scared me. Because if I could sound normal here, then I could sound normal anywhere. I could keep functioning, keep moving, keep answering questions. I understood then that this was how people survive things they aren't ready to feel yet. They don't fall apart. They go grocery shopping. It was the first proof that my mind was protecting itself by letting small things go. At the register, the cashier smiled. "Did you find everything okay?" "Yes," I said. The lie came easily, too easily. It didn't feel dishonest. It felt trained. I realized how often we say fine without checking, how language smooths things over before truth has a chance. I carried the bags to the car, put them in the trunk. My hands worked. My mind floated. Function had taken over. I lied automatically. That afternoon, I had a Zoom call. The screen reflected a version of me that still made sense. Neutral expression, attentive posture. I nodded at familiar words without absorbing them. I heard myself speak and was surprised by how normal I sounded. No one noticed. That felt both relieving and isolating. It meant I could keep going. It meant no one would stop me. I learned how easy it is to perform stability when everything is breaking quietly. My camera was on. I nodded at the right moments. Someone asked if I had questions. I wanted to ask how people keep working after their life cracks open. Instead, I said no. That night, he lay next to me. He didn't touch me. That was worse. I stared at the ceiling. I thought about the hotel room, the bed there. I wondered if he slept better. Some days felt almost normal. Normal was tempting. Normal meant routines returned. Laughter slipped out. Time passed. Normal whispered, "You could live like this, if you don't look too closely, if you don't ask too much." I felt the pull of it. The quiet suggestion that staying might be easier than starting over. I wondered how many women mistake numbness for healing. How many call it peace when it's really just adaptation. The thought stayed with me. That scared me. Normal meant I could stay. Normal meant I could forget. I caught myself laughing once. It felt wrong, like betrayal had background music. I wondered how many women stay, because the pain eventually softens. I wondered if that was happening to me. A few days later, we had dinner plans. Friends, nothing special. Something we had already agreed to before everything broke. I assumed we wouldn't go. He didn't. "We should still go," he said. "Let's keep things normal." Normal again? He said it carefully, like a compromise, like maturity. "They don't need to know," he added. "Not yet." Not yet sounded temporary, reasonable. I nodded. At the restaurant, nothing had changed. The same table, the same jokes, the same stories we'd told before. I watched him laugh, watched him lean back in his chair. He reached for my hand, briefly, publicly. It was practiced. I smiled when expected, laughed at the right moments. I could feel myself splitting. One part of me answered questions, nodded, passed the salt. The other part stood a few feet away, watching. No one asked how I was. They commented on the food, on work, on plans. Someone said, "You two seem great." I felt my face respond before I decided to. I realized then this was what he meant by fixing things. Neat repair, presentation. When we left, he said, "See, that wasn't so bad." I didn't answer, because I understood something new. Normal didn't mean healed, it meant hidden. And I was the one doing the hiding. A few days later, someone said it out loud. Not him, not me. Someone else. We were standing in a hallway, coats half on, small talk drifting toward goodbyes. She smiled at me, not unkindly. "You're so calm about everything," she said. I could never. She said it like admiration, like praise. Like calm was a skill I had mastered. I felt my face respond before my mind did. I smiled back automatically, because that's what calm people do. I nodded, as if she had named something true. Inside something tightened. Not anger, recognition. She didn't know, and that wasn't the problem. The problem was how easily my pain had been mistaken for strength, how silence had been translated into grace. Calm didn't mean I was okay. It meant I was quiet. It meant I hadn't disrupted the room, haven't made anyone uncomfortable, haven't asked for space that would need to be held. Her compliment landed like a verdict. If I'd spoke, I would lose this version of myself. The composed one, the reasonable one, the woman who handles things well. I realized then how rewarding silence can be, how the world claps softly when you don't ask it to stop. She squeezed my arm, briefly, supportively. "I really admire that," she added. Admire, as if endurance was a personality trait, as if swallowing something whole was a sign of maturity. I wanted to say, "This isn't calm, this is containment." But the words stayed inside, because saying them would have changed the room, would have asked something of her, of everyone, and I understood something new. My silence wasn't invisible. It was being read, interpreted, rewarded. And the longer I stayed quiet, the more this version of me would harden into expectation. Calm wasn't protecting me. It was protecting everyone else from having to look closer. He started bringing flowers. Not my favorite, but close enough. "I thought you'd like this," he said. He watched my face. I put them in a vase. He relaxed. A few days later, he said it. "Maybe we should try therapy." He said it calmly, like a good man. He said couples survive worse. He couldn't remember where he read that. He started using new words. Healing, triggers, repair. He said, mistakes don't define a person. He said, we both played a role. Both. He needed my guilt to balance his actions. One night, he said, "Let's not tell anyone." He said it gently, like advice, like protection. It wasn't about privacy, it was about time. The longer no one knew, the more normal this could become. He said some things are better kept private, that outside voices complicate healing, that people take sides. I understood what he meant. Privacy sounded mature, responsible. It sounded like something people who love each other choose. I told myself this was about us, about not inviting opinions, about keeping something fragile safe. It made sense. It always does at first. I didn't hear it as a request. I heard it as a plan, a way to control the narrative before it escaped the room. I didn't realize then how silence can be shared unevenly, how one person's privacy becomes another person's isolation. I thought we were protecting the marriage. Later I understood we were protecting his version of it. He said it was private. I understood. It would protect him. He offered his phone, passwords, transparency. I didn't touch it. Trust doesn't come back through surveillance. He sent me links, podcasts, quotes. One said infidelity is a symptom. He said we could come out stronger, like betrayal was a walkout. One night he said, "I just need you to meet me halfway." That was it. Halfway meant I carried part of his betrayal. Behind closed doors, I knew this wasn't repair, it was management. I remembered him saying once, "I'm not that kind of guy." I laughed back then. I remember a joke at Easter party. "People ruin their lives for 5 minutes," he said. Everyone laughed. I remember telling my friend I was lucky that he was safe. I remember him saying, "You're not dramatic." I thought it was praise. Now I know. It meant manageable. Nothing in the past changed, only the meaning. Memory doesn't warn you, it waits. I asked him again. If I hadn't found the receipt, would you have told me? He froze. "I don't know," he said. That was the answer. He didn't plan to choose me. He planned to keep me. Behind closed doors, everything became clear. I talked to a friend. She asked if I was safe. No one asked what I did wrong. I talked to a lawyer. She asked who had power. I became nicer. Flowers, promises, therapy talk. He said I was throwing away 9 years. He still didn't understand. That's when he said it. "You're acting like I burned the house down," he said. "It was just sex." Just. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't sound cruel. He sounded practical, like I had misunderstood the scale of the damage. And in that moment, I realized something colder than anger. He wasn't sorry. He was inconvenienced. Sorry would have meant he felt the weight of what he did. Inconvenienced meant I had made it harder for him. That's when I understood. He didn't regret losing me. He regretted losing the version of me who didn't ask questions. It wasn't one mistake. It was clarity. Not sudden, not loud. It arrived quietly, after the noise had borne itself out. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't trying to win an argument. I was done explaining. I didn't need him to understand. Understanding wouldn't change the shape of what had already happened. For the first time, the question wasn't how to fix this. It was whether I wanted to live inside it. And that made everything simple, not easy, just clear. I realized sign would require constant translation, explaining my pain, minimizing his comfort, managing something that no longer belonged to both of us. Living didn't feel dramatic. It felt final, like setting something down after holding it too long. It was entitlement. I filed for divorce. He was shocked. He thought I would stay. People think betrayal is about sex. It isn't. It's about entitlement. It's deciding someone else will absorb the damage. He didn't cheat because he stopped loving me. He cheated because he believed love meant I would stay. Love without consent is not love. It's ownership. And ownership always assumes someone else will pay the cost. After the papers were signed, nothing dramatic happened. I moved out. I bought new plates, new towels. I stopped waiting for explanations. I stopped rehearsing conversations that would never happen. Stopped wondering what I could have said differently. What tone might have changed things. There was no version of the truth that would have made it easier. So I let it stay unfinished. Not every ending needs agreement. Some just need distance. I learned that closure doesn't always come from answers. Sometimes it comes from not needing them anymore. Sometimes people ask if I miss him. I miss the version of myself who felt safe without knowing why, but I don't miss the marriage. Because behind closed doors, it wasn't love, it was convenience. And I refuse to be convenient. Some doors close quietly, some never really do. If this story felt close to home, there's another one waiting for you here. This is behind closed doors. Stay.